What is up, everybody? Welcome to Theory Unlocked, the Gamerz Theory podcast. Of course, I'm Drew Mosley. Joined alongside me, as always, it is Michael Fisher. Fish, what is happening, dude? How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. You know, early week podcast should be a lot of fun. We got a fun topic that we had to push back from last week, so I'm excited to dig into this one.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a lot going on over here. Last week was a busy one, Michael. I posted how many articles we did. It was close to something like 25, 30 articles throughout the week. It was definitely a busy week last week. There's a lot going on. But if you want to support us, you can do that right here over on our Substack, thegamerztheory.substack.com. You can check us out over here, or you can check out the gamerztheory.com website as well. And of course, if you're following the podcast over on Spotify or our YouTube channel, be sure to subscribe, like, hit all those buttons, and help us share our content. It helps our small independent team still keep going alive here and keep the lights on. So that's our game plan here, Michael. But let's get into what's going on as we're going to be breaking down the show today. We're going to get into the news. I got some Ghost Recon news happening. You got some marathon stuff going on. We got, of course, what we've been playing each and every day. Not much has changed in my world, Michael. I'm going to be honest. Not much. But we do have a great topic of the show. This is a big one. There are games that we are always talking about these games and how long the development takes for some of these projects. Well, we're going to break down these games and talk about when we expect them to actually release. Let's see how close we get. We could be way off. Or we could be on fire. We'll see what happens. And then, of course, we end each and every week, like we always do, with the Indie Spotlight. So, Michael, let's get going. I'm going to kick it to you, dude. I'm going to let you go with the news first. What you got going on?
Well, we've talked a lot about Marathon, and, well, the numbers aren't looking good, Drew, but it is mid-Season 2 update, and we are launching the Vault Breaker mode today if you're watching our Substack. Came out on Tuesday if you're watching the podcast a little bit later in the week. Full PvE mode. We've seen a lot of other extraction shooters like Arc Raiders kind of go down this path, and now Marathon is jumping on the ship to see if this one will stick. It's only limited time, which I think is a little odd to me. I believe it's only going to go through August 4th, so curious on that. I wonder if it is popular, if maybe they'll keep it around. But yeah, it is a full PvE roguelike mode. You go in with your sponsored kit, you look for vault chips, nothing you keep except for your vault. You keep nothing when you extract except for your vault chips, which then you can use to either upgrade your gear, which is the roguelite, or you can use it to buy gear for other modes. Which, you know, kind of a tie-in, get some of those PvP players over. But I don't know, Drew. I don't know if this is going to work. Marathon is from Bungie. You're trying everything right. The game director left on Friday. He stepped down. It's not looking good. I don't know if we're going to get a Season 3. I think this is too little too late. But it'll be interesting to see the rebound, if there is any, for a pure PvE mode. Because I think a lot of these extraction shooters are realizing people don't really like PvP, right? There's a certain subset of people that like it. And if you're not good enough at the game, you can't dedicate enough hours, you're going to fall behind.
Yeah.
And that's why I think we've seen Arc Raiders go for more of a PvE style. We'll see if Marathon's works. Curious to see, but man, Marathon, right up there for flop of the year, man. It has not been a good game at all.
Yeah, it was funny because I don't think it's a horrible game. It's just struggling to find its audience, right? It's not Destiny. That's where it is. Bungie comes out, they got Destiny 1, which did well. Destiny 2 goes well and continues to keep going. And then people just want Destiny 3. And they're like, no, we're going to give you Marathon. And nobody wants it. Like, that's at the end of the day. Dude, nobody wants this game. And that's where Bungie's now left with, because they've laid off half of their staff, cut the studio right in half practically, and they have nothing else in the tank right now. It's such an odd maneuver to see Bungie go from such a high with Halo into Destiny. And Destiny was a rocky road. There is no denying that. But at the same time, then you launch the next title, and it's this bright, colorful extraction shooter that people just aren't connecting with. And it's unfortunate. Unfortunate to see. I'm hoping Bungie can figure it out. Michael, should they just shut it down though and move on to something else?
I mean, I think so, right? I don't see a world where the game is continuing to make money, right? It's you know, I don't know how many people are on the battle pass, right? I mean, you got your sort of your one-time buy-in, and that's it. So yeah, I mean, I really think it's one of those, maybe you ramp down, maybe not shut down, but like ramp down, try and minimize how much of your team that is left at Bungie is working on it, yeah, and fire up something new. Because yeah, I think as you said, it just the extraction shooter genre is just so oversaturated. Arc Raiders hit maybe at the worst time for Bungie, right? And it just there's no way to stand out in this sort of genre that I think a lot of these AAA studios are trying to all of a sudden chase. I mean, right, we're going to get a Call of Duty extraction shooter later this year as well. So I think a lot of these AAA studios were just late to the party, and Bungie's going to be the first one to kind of pay the ultimate price and have to see their game, I would assume, shut down. Maybe it makes it to 2027, but even that feels like a stretch right now.
Maybe they just leave the servers on, let the game go,
Yeah.
right? Like just for those who want to play, you can, because you're not getting a disc version of it, and this is all you're going to get now moving forward is just staying in this space if you want to play it, right? Otherwise, people are still playing Destiny 2.
You could go back. You could, say, oops, we messed up. We're actually going to start producing more content for Destiny 2.
Can you imagine?
We're going to put Marathon on. I mean...
It's probably the better move at this point, though, isn't it?
It's the correct move, but whether or not Bungie and Sony want to make that call and deal with all the backlash... They let go most of the Destiny team, right?
Yep.
Now all of a sudden you have to hire all the Destiny guys back and let go of all the Marathon guys? Or are you going to try and transition the Marathon team over? Yeah, I mean, they already laid their eggs, and I think it was in the wrong basket.
Oh, that's fair enough. But let's talk about my eggs getting over into the girl world of Ghost Recon Wildlands Definitive Edition. So I got hit up the other day. We were playing Siege. We're going to get into what we've been playing here in a little bit. But as a nightly routine, we're in Siege, which is funny enough. I took a night off last night. But either way. So we were playing Siege, and Scott goes, Drew, have you seen this rumor? I said, dude, I've been seeing this and been following it for the last week. The latest rumor is that Ghost Recon from Ubisoft is getting the Wildlands Definitive Edition. So those who don't know, Wildlands released like almost a decade ago, and then Breakpoint came out, and it more or less got memed to death of Broken Point. At least that's what we called it at the time, because it was just a broken mess at launch.
Yep.
And I think, yeah, they've ironed out some bugs over the course of time, but still, at the end of the day, Wildlands, to me and many other people, was the better game. Now, all this time later, here we go, Michael. We're talking about a definitive edition. Whether that means, is it just the complete package? Does it get an update as far as graphics? Does it get a remake? Does it get a remaster? Nobody knows, except Ubisoft, who then has teased as of yesterday, being the Monday. Stay tuned for August 6th. We'll have more to talk about. I was like, aha! So I covered the leak and this breaking news yesterday on our Substack and our website. And then, funny enough, it was followed up later in the day that Ubisoft is like, we heard you. We have more to share next month. I was like, aha. So it's getting a 4K upgrade. It's getting 60 frames per second. It is getting more content as well. All right. So I might be jumping back into Wild. No, I'm gonna jump back into Wildlands, Michael. I'm not calling it now. Dude, you can roll with your buddies and away you go, and the gunplay is just on point. It was such a good game, and they've added content that I haven't played since the game's kind of continued getting updates and this, that, and the other. But now the definitive edition, what do you price this at, Michael?
Ooh. Well, I know in Ubisoft it's probably going to be 70, right? I mean, I think that's just a guarantee. But I think like 40, 50 is probably a more acceptable range. But it just feels like, they're going to go new game, new content, $70. But yeah, I really think that $40, $50 range is kind of the sweet spot for the definitive edition. You're going to get a little bit more. But yeah, the game's a little older, right? We're going to give you some of that off. But I really think, knowing Ubisoft, no hopes that this game's any cheaper than $70.
Which is unfortunate. I'm agreeing with you on both points. I think, yeah, they'll probably charge you $80 for a brand new game. They'll call it a brand new game when really it's not. It's just it's an older game with new content, which has been up-res to 4K, right? Like that's really what we're coming down to. But yeah, I think if they can, and they should come in at the $40 price range, I think they'll sell way more copies for anybody who missed it or people like me who want to come back. Because I have the game. They're calling it the definitive edition, so they're not going to just go, hey, here's a free upgrade, right? Like, how nice would that be? No. It's not going to happen. Not going to be that. Not going to happen. No. We're talking about Ubisoft here. That's not going to happen, ever. So, yeah, that's unfortunately not. But that would be cool. Curious to see, do we get it this year?
Yeah, I think so. I think
Me
right.
too.
You've got a couple months right. People are sleeping on October, right? We've talked about it. Everybody's in September,
Yeah.
but when you're doing something like this, which is a re-release of a game, right? I think that October window is going to be wide open because everybody else is trying to move away from GTA. You've got kind of a month to yourself where, again, because it's not a new game, you don't have to deal with all the hype and all the build-up. You don't have to worry about maybe the game dying quickly, right? You've already kind of made your initial money. Now let's go back and get some extra cash. So yeah, I really think you lock in for that early to maybe second, third week of October. You're going to be in a good spot if you're Ubisoft.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's the sweet spot. I think you need to get in there before GTA 6 launches. Nobody wants to get caught in the wake of that, so you might as well get out ahead of time. September is already way too busy. You do not want to launch anything. I've seen people now move from September out of the way because September is just getting flooded, right? Always does. Every single year is the same thing. September, September, September. And especially this year because of GTA 6, nobody wants to touch November now. So it's just like, get out of here. Man, I'm getting Windows popped up. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. So, yeah, I'm hoping October. I want early October because Wildlands isn't exactly a short game either. You can spend a ton of hours in this game. It is an open world, go as you please kind of thing, right? And there's a lot of content already in the game, so I want to see how much is new and go touch on that stuff. Looking forward to it though, because yeah, it was funny because Kyle the other day, a good friend of ours, downloaded it. He says, "Drew, I haven't finished this mission. I'm stuck on it." I'm like, "Dude, I will download it and I will play." We get in there, dude. The game looked good then, so I can only imagine what it's gonna look like now. And then on top of that, we tried doing this mission, and our helicopter just got blown out of the air. I was like, "Damn it, this game is hard sometimes." So, but yeah, that was a while ago. That was fun. Looking forward to jumping back in with hopefully Kyle and maybe Nate and a couple others too. So, yeah, definitely a good time. Wildlands is still one of my favorite in the Ghost Recon series. Speaking of what we've been playing, let's dive into it. Assassin's Creed Black Flag Recent continues to be on my list of games. That was not stopping. MLB The Show is on there. Rainbow Six Siege again, still going there. I am working on a review. Oh, my review just lifted actually of Lifted. So this is like this Disney-esque kind of Pixar art style game. It's a platformer. It was fun. It was short, so you're able to get in, get out. My review is up on our website and as well as our Substack. You can go check that out. I'm also playing something else. Kit Everrail, I think it's called. It's a new survival game. You're on a train, and you gotta keep power to the train. But the only way the power stays on the train is by keeping it moving. But then you need to stop for resources and then manage your crew. So it's interesting. We'll see how this one goes. I'm 45 minutes in, Michael, and I was like, I don't know. This one's gonna click. It's got some rough. It's early access and it's showing its early stages to say the least right now. But hopefully, the more I play, the more I can get sucked in. But I'm a little on the doubtful side. And lastly, my journey continues for A Plague Tale: Innocence. That's the first game. I'm going back to get caught up before we get the next one in the end of next month. So I'm just over the halfway mark now, Michael, and I'm having a great time playing this game. Dude, stealth is such my genre to go to. It is so cool. I'm sneaking up behind guards. I'm like snuffing them out because I've crafted this material. And yeah, I'm just luring them over here and I'm sneaking around others. And then you got to solve some puzzles and lure the rats away. The rats are a big issue. These damn rats. Holy shit. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun. I've been posting nearly most of my progress over on our Substack. So we have a daily newsletter that goes out. And from there, you can follow my journey. And I've got that journey that goes. So I might kind of maybe tie it all in together to one big piece at the end of the day when I'm all said and done. But we'll see. In the meantime, I've been doing that and plugging away on that. What are you playing, Michael?
Well, still sticking in Pal World, we have an absolute blast with the 1.0 launch, my buddies and I. Getting towards the end of the game, beat the story over the weekend. There's a couple hard mode bosses that we're going to try, maybe. And then we've been talking, do we want to start over, right? We've seen some rumors on maybe the Pal World subreddit, right? One of the best ways to play a new game is they have a randomizer built in, right? So instead of loading in, everything's level 1, it's nice and peaceful. You can just boom, randomize the spawns, randomize the levels. You load in, boom, max level pal, ready to absolutely kick your ass, is staring you in the face. So we're debating if we want to maybe say, hey, let's start over. Let's add a little bit more randomness to it, right? We've already beat the game a couple times, right? We kind of understand, all right, when we're level 20, we go here. When we're level 30, we go here. Well, what if you don't know where to go when you're level 20? So we're debating that, but it's been a ton of fun. And then I hop back on Sand. Raiders of Sophie, absolutely love the game, but they've been having a cheater issue, Drew, and they haven't quite figured out how to get through that one yet. They actually had to disable the ability to take over enemy crafts because hackers were just teleporting in and then teleporting out. Finally, they said they figured that out, so they pushed that one through. I hopped back in, first game, ran into a cheater. He couldn't take over the ship, but he was still doing some other shenanigans, and it's just like, man, why did I have to download BattleEye when I downloaded this game? Like, what good did it do? So it's a real bummer because this game's a ton of fun, but the hacker problem, man, is just, it's getting out of control. I mean, it's in every game. It's a battle. I understand it. But, man, this one has been a slow burn from the devs to figure out how to shut down these cheaters.
The PC world, too, is such a cheater field. Like, it's just such a playing field for cheaters to come in, hack something, and then cheat away. Like, I'll never forget playing... dude, what was that game? Everybody was on it for a while. You're like a jelly bean running around. You gotta get the star and the crown at the end of it, right? You know what I'm talking, dude. Everybody knows right now. Everybody's listening to this, going, "You idiot!" I'm like, I know, I can feel it.
Oh man, what is that?
But it's just I lost it. I had it, and then it was then I listened to you talk, and it was gone. But either way, at the end of it, where you're hovering, and then you know where you step on the hexagons, and then they let go, right? Like they disappear. You fall through. There's one just hovering in the middle the whole time. I'm like, do you feel good that you cheated to win your crown? Like, does that make sense to you? Like, you're not a winner, you're a freaking loser. Because you had to cheat to get in there. Dude, what the fuck is that game? It's gonna drive me nuts. Oh, I will think about it when we're on to something else, Michael, for sure. But it is... I mean... I can. You're looking it up. Look it up. What is it, Michael?
I looked it up. Fall Guys.
Oh, thank you.
Fall
Jesus.
Guys. There we go.
Yeah, you know, the hexagon where you fall through.
That was the map I won my first crown on. I was pumped. I was not the guy, though, that was cheating in your lobby. That was not me.
Yeah, it was you hovering. That's yeah. So it's like, I mean, I just don't understand the cheating mentality. Like, I remember back in the day, we had the Nintendo, and my brother got the Game Genie. You plug it in your game to the cartridge, you plug that in, and then you punch in a code, boom, you got big heads, and then, or you got infinite lives, or you got this. Okay, fine. But that's single player shit. When you get in the multiplayer side of things, man, you're just ruining that experience for so many other people. And it's not because you're any good. It's because you suck worse than we do that you need to cheat.
Yep.
Brutal. Just brutal. Freaking cheaters. Nobody likes you. That's just where I stand. Michael, let's get into the topic of the show. We're always playing something, but now we're in the predicting stages. We have a list of 10 games we are going to predict when they launch. These games have been in development for nearly 6+ years, if not longer, as we get into title number 1, Beyond Good and Evil 2. Dude, it's nearly 18 years in development. We're talking about 2 decades. I cannot believe Ubisoft, first of all, just hasn't freaking canceled the game, man.
Yeah.
How is this still in production? The amount of money, which is, again, like we talk about it all the time here, the development life cycle is just far too freaking long. They need to figure out how to get back to these 4 to 5 year development terms and then pump the game out. No 7, 8 years, 10 years. But here we are. We have 10 games. We could have added more, but we stopped at 10, wondering where the games are. So, Michael, if you're going to guess a game that's been in 2 decades of development setbacks. It was one of the creators actually passed away, which then they had to find his replacement, the director, and then move on to somebody else. And then, last I've heard, though, Beyond Good and Evil 2, because I follow the hell out of Beyond Good and Evil 2, ever since Beyond Good and Evil 1, that is internally hitting the milestones now that they need to hit?
How many milestones have we had? Like, what is the milestone? Like, we put a title in? Like,
Yeah, it's the splash screen you get Beyond Good and Evil 2 at the 2-hour mark of play in the game. That's their internal checkbox.
oh,
All right, so first announced back in 2008, re-revealed in 2017. Here we are, 2026.
well,
What a way to start off. Dude, it's so good.
I'm going to guess it's been worked on. Right, with some of the changes. So I'm going to say this probably didn't even really start until maybe 2022-ish, I think is kind of when we heard the rumors pop back up.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go with 2030. I think 2030 is when we're going to get Beyond Good and Evil 2. And I don't think it's going to be very good, Drew. I think this game is, like, I do not think it's going to be.
No hope, eh?
This is giving off the Skull and Bones first Quad A game vibe. Because, right, whenever it comes out, it's going to be, like, right, for my prediction, right, the game will be 22 years old. It could legally vote. It could legally drink down here in the United States. And I just think that is going to run the narrative, right? If this game was in development for 22 years, people are going to be like, this sucks, right? I mean, because it was restarted, as you said. A developer unfortunately passed away, which leads to another restart, right? That one out of their control. The rest, I think, fully in Ubisoft's control. I'm shocked this one hasn't been canceled. I was tempted to say canceled, right? And I think that's a valid choice for these, but they keep mentioning it in all their media, which tells me that they're not going to cancel it, right? Like, they keep saying this when they reorganize their houses. This one's going to be in control of Beyond Good and Evil 2. And everyone's like, but why? Why keep saying it? So I think it's coming out, and I'm going to go with 2030 for Beyond Good and Evil 2, Drew.
Oh, man. I can't say that you're wrong, but I think because they've had to reboot it. So, yeah, when they re-revealed it in 2017, we saw the landscape. We got to see some gameplay, and they're starting this whole Beyond Good and Evil Insider program. That went freaking silent and a bunch of other stuff, right? When do we think Beyond Good and Evil 2? It's just been such a weird development process. I've never seen such a game struggle, right? Like, even Skull and Bones wasn't this bad. So,
this is one of a kind. I don't think we'll ever see this again. I don't think we'll ever see this again.
But it's such a Ubisoft thing. Like, at the end of the day, Skull and Bones, Ubisoft. Beyond Good and Evil 2, Ubisoft. And guess what? We're not done with Ubisoft games because we have more. So when we talk about this one, dude, I'm going earlier than you by 2 years. I think 2028. I think they are now at the point where they have to get this the hell out of here. We are coming up on 2 decades worth of development. Like, you cannot fathom the amount of money they have put into development for this game. They can't afford another day, but they're going to go for 2 more years, and we will finally see it in 2027 with a 2028 release. That is my guess. Okay. How do we track this, Michael, so we can come back in 2 years to see when we've done this? Yeah, let me go. Let me see. So, I'm going to put my predictions here. We start with you, Michael. So we're going to go, Michael, 2030. Drew. Yep. With a 2028. Okay, let's get on to the next one. Because they have the first one. This game is still going well today. New content is constantly coming out. Arc 2 has been in development since 2020. We're now in 2026. Latest rumor is that it's targeting a 2028 release date. Significant delays, development, reboots, development hell. I think that's just safe to say for all these games, more or less. Kind of be in that development hell. Or that's just the development process now these days, right? Like 7 years is pretty freaking standard, which is just crazy. And then they wonder why they lose out so much money. Arc 2 is now bringing in Vin Diesel as the main protagonist to run the campaign as, right?
Forgot about that.
But dude, I'll never forget playing Ark. So I played it with my oldest son back in the day when Ark launched. It's Ascendant, Revolved, or Evolved or something like that, right? So Ark 1 comes out, and you make your giant caveman, and he looks like this big brute of a dude. And it was clunky, it was chunky, and it still kind of reminds me of that today. I'm hoping Ark 2 polishes a lot of that up. Did you ever play Ark 1 back in the day, Michael?
I think it was one of those games that I kind of had pinned, and I was like, man, I want to play this.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm trying to get buddies to play it, and everybody else kind of was like, no, this looks weird, this looks chunky. And I never could get them to jump on the ship. So I never did take the plunge, and then, as you said, now all of a sudden we've got, we're doing some weird stuff with Ark 2, right? So
yeah, Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel.
We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was back in the day, our friend Nate and his brothers were playing. Dude, hours. I mean, like, hours sunk into this game, and then they show up the next day, and their base is demolished. Just obliterated. They were pissed. I'm like, and rightfully so. That's a lot of time. All of a sudden, you come back, and there's nothing left. I'm mad, too. But what do? Dude, they boot it back up again. They start their own server so that nobody can invade them, and they start all over again. I was like, oh my goodness. So they had a dedicated Xbox to launch their own server on. I was like, that's not how I want to play games. But that's where they are. Will Ark 2 follow suit? Like, where does the multiplayer lie? Will it continue down that path for Ark 2, or do they shift things away from that? A lot of people now are like, hey, man, I don't want... We talked about... at the top of the show, extraction shooters introducing the PvE element, right? Ark 2 present with that kind of style, or do they keep it anybody can invade your server?
I think they'll kind of copy what they did, what Rust does, Power World does it as well, right? We're gonna have official servers. You can go on the official server, the risk, but we're gonna fully support dedicated servers, right? We're maybe even going to encourage people to go on their own dedicated server, like you mentioned with your buddies, right? That's what my buddies and I do with Power World as well. But I still think you don't want to close off that subsection of like, yeah, if you want to go out there and you want to have your own base and you want to raid other people, right? There is, as much as most people hate PvP, there is that draw for PvP, right? And you don't really lose anything shutting those people off if you're like, hey, we're going to host 10 official servers or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And if you want to play on there, go for it. But hey, we are not going to care if you go in and you mod the hell out of your own server. So I think they'll kind of copy the standard that's come from most of these survival games, right? Where we've got our official PvP, but feel free to do a dedicated server where you never have to worry about anyone else ever again.
Yeah, that's fair. Ark 2, let's predict when. Targeting 2028. I don't think it makes it. I think we're slipping into 2029.
I'm going to go on the other side. I actually think they're going to make it because I know a lot of people joke, oh, Power World's just a ripoff of Pokemon, but anytime I kind of read deeper, there's a lot of people who are like, no, this is just Ark, right? This looks like Ark.
Sure.
And I think that's going to light a fire into them that Power World's been so successful, so I think they get it done by that 2028 mark that they've been targeting, right? They see how successful Power World's been, and again, everything I read on Reddit, they're like, yeah, no, people say that, yeah, sure, some of the pals look like Pokemon, but this plays like Ark. Everything I'm in this game is an Ark style, and I think that really lights up Studio Wildcard to be like, all right, we got to get our button gear. We're going to start losing probably more people to Power World when they start doing more and more updates. So, yeah, I think they get that 2028. One of the few titles on this list, Drew, that I think will actually hit this target date.
All right, this one here has no date. They can take as much time as they want. It's the developers behind No Man's Sky, who came out, Hello Games, and destroyed themselves for No Man's Sky. The launch was one of the most recognizable disasters in the industry as far as history goes. There was nothing like it until Cyberpunk 2077 showed up. Right? Like, you never thought we'd ever see anything again, and then Cyberpunk said, hold my beer. So, here we are with Light No Fire. This is Hello Games' next game. It was officially announced in 2023 at the Game Awards, and it started development back in 2018. We are at that stage. We are at that limit of going, okay, development 2018 started. Which is probably early thoughts, concepts, this, that, and the other, right? Full production, probably 2020. Yeah, I would guess, right? So, No Man's Sky, I saw rumored today. I don't know if this is true, but I saw they're about to get their final update.
Ooh.
And then shift to Light No Fire. Which then puts this at an interesting stance, right? Doesn't that change something? If that rumor is true, that suddenly goes, maybe we're closer than we think to getting Light No Fire. Because ultimately I thought, man, we're probably at a 2030 situation.
Yep.
Now, if No Man's Sky is true to get its final update, they're heavily focused now at Hello Games on Light No Fire, and they have been, right, with still a small team or a part of the team dedicated to supporting No Man's Sky, because the community there is unreal. Like, it is, to have that community today from where that game launched, unfathomable that was even a possibility, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you 100%. Thought after launch that game is done. It is toast. Nobody's coming back. That is not the case. That is one of the biggest games right now. It is one of the biggest communities besides Warframe, I think, at this point. And when you go to the Game Awards, there's always the best ongoing game. No Man's Sky is in that conversation. It is in that list each and every year for several years now. So, Light No Fire, Michael. When you lighting the fire on this one?
Yeah, I was like you. I was probably going to look at that 2030 range, and then you at least broke the rumor to me about what their ideas are, and that changes things. If that's true, and the new content update is coming soon, I'm almost wanting to say next year, but I want to give myself some wiggle room. So I'm going to go with 2028. 8-ish years feels about right. When I did a little bit of digging, that's about how long it took No Man's Sky to reach the point it's at, right? It was about 3 years in development and then 5 years of fixes. So 8 years in total. So yeah, I'm going to go with that theory. Probably really ramped up production in COVID in 2020.
Yeah.
Telling me that there's final content. I'll give them 2 more years. So yeah, 2028. But I would not be shocked if we get it next year, right? Because when you ramp down and you say, look, we're going into maintenance mode, the clock's ticking, right? But I want to give myself some wiggle room because we've heard really nothing about this game besides the one trailer.
Here's my prediction. Now with this rumor in place, which again, take with a grain of salt. We have no idea. I just saw this pop up and I went, okay, maybe. Like if that's true, here's where I think we're at. The Game Awards gets a trailer.
Yep.
And a release date of 2027. That is where I'm at for Light No Fire.
I would believe you. If we get a trailer, I would 100% join your thought process.
Yeah, I think there's the Game Awards announcement, gameplay reveal, I would call it, right? And then followed by the 2027 release window, which then ultimately gives them the opportunity to push it to 2028. Yeah. Right? Yep. That's where I think I'm coming in for that one. So, what's your hype level, though, for Light No Fire?
So I was on the fence for No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Was kind of was like, I'll take it out, and then when it, the launch happened, I was like, okay, never playing this game again. I'm not wasting my money, right? I don't want to waste my money. I've heard people who absolutely love the game after the updates, but it's one of those where I'm like, I feel like I come in too late. I think it's going to be one of those that I'm going to have on my list of, like, I want to play this one, right? I think they learned their lesson. So, yeah, I would definitely say, like, a 9 out of 10 is where I'm going to come in. That first trailer, obviously, you were predicting, right? That Game Awards trailer, I think, is going to be huge to me, right? What am I going to see?
Yep.
But I definitely think for me right now, it's a 9 out of 10. I think they learned their lesson. It's one of those where I'm like, dang, I kind of wish I had gotten into No Man's Sky when it had gotten better. But by then, it was like, we talk about it all the time, right? 5 years in, you kind of missed that window, right?
Sure.
So, yeah, I'm 9 out of 10. I think this is going to be a really good game and one of those games, that we're like, okay, these guys really learned their lesson. And this is one of the better games of the 2020s.
I'm super hyped for Light No Fire. I tried No Man's Sky. Dude, I could not get into No Man's Sky for the life of me. I tried 4 or 5 times. I'm like, I can't do this. I really tried, right? So, at one point, I'm playing with my brother, and he's got hundreds of hours. So I'm just starting up for like the 3rd or 4th time. And I jump in, and he's like, okay, well, you're going to need this. here's a resource. Here, you're gonna need this. Just hands me that. Just hands me. I'm like, I don't even know what's happening right now. You just keep handing me everything, right? I'm like, nope, nope, nope. Like you say, I missed that window when everybody else was playing to then trying to go back when everybody else is so far ahead of me. I'm out. I just said, forget it. Never gonna play it. Give it up. And I will wait for Light No Fire, and I will be there on day one, whether the servers tank, the game is shit, or the game is fantastic. I will find out like everybody else. Right? But I don't want to miss that window because it is one of those, if this hits, it could be another No Man's Sky play for years, right?
Yep.
Mentality. So that's kind of where I'm at. But yeah, it was definitely, I missed the boat on No Man's Sky. But it came out and it was just, people like, this is empty. There's nothing here to do. There's this, there's that. And yeah, Sean promised us this, and that never happened. And Sean whatever. So yeah, we'll see. Light No Fire. You're predicting 2028. I'm predicting 2027 with the announcement and gameplay reveal at the Game Awards. BioShock 4. Cloud Chamber 2K officially announced in 2019. Multiple reports of internal resets and delays. Still no release date. Michael, where are you? Are you a BioShock fan?
I don't know if I'd say a fan. I greatly enjoyed Infinite. I thought Infinite was a great game.
Sure.
But I hadn't played 1 or 2, and it's not like Infinite made me go back and play those, right? I think it's a good game. I think it's
its own thing within the BioShock universe, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I wouldn't say like I'm a diehard fan. I haven't played all the games. I thought Infinite was a good game, and I teased this as a viable answer. At least I think it is for Beyond Good Evil 2, and I'm going to use that here. That is never. I do not believe we're ever getting this game. I believe this will be canceled. Sorry, BioShock fans. It's nothing personal. It's just nothing to me about this game makes sense. I think the BioShock window has faded, right? I mean, Infinite was, I had to look it up, 2013 DLC kind of bled into 2014. Like, that was 12 years ago. I don't think that hype still exists. At best, this would be a cash grab. And yeah, as you said, multiple delays, resets. I think this is the first one on the list, Drew. I do not think we'll ever see the light of day.
Wow. That's unfortunate, I think, for a lot of people. BioShock was never my thing because it's one of the creepy games that I'm like, I'm not doing this, and especially underwater. I'm like, hell no, I am out. That Big Daddy can bugger off, man. I don't want anything to do with this. That guy, that creepy little girl. So I was never there. I jumped into Infinite like you because it was so different and so just a dramatic change. And I thought, this kind of looks cool and interesting, but I never stuck around with it either. But I think like the BioShock fandom is definitely there. There is a calling for another BioShock game, and I don't think we see it though. I think we do get it. I don't think it's canceled. I think we will get it. But yeah, officially announced in 2019. Like, it's been so freaking long. I would say 2029 is when we start to see more of it with a 2031 release. That's where I'm at. Dude, that is rough. But yeah,
12 years.
I think that is kind of where this one is lying right now because we are so far removed, delayed, reset, trying to figure out what to do. I could be way off on this one, but yeah, I'm thinking we start to see more, and not for a couple more years. Like, we're 2026. Yeah, I don't think we see anything for another 3 years on the game.
Yeah,
with a 2030 promise and a delay into 2031. That's where I'm at.
Oh,
that's something. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
More depressing than my canceled idea.
At least if it's canceled, people can move on, right? That's
yeah, exactly. Not this way. You just keep holding on to hope, man.
Keep lingering. You should linger some more. All right, let's get into man. Okay, I love the studio. Quantic Dream is one of my favorite studios because nobody tells the story like they do. I followed them since their Indigo Prophecy days. If anybody's played that one, shout out to an old title. And then they really kind of picked up the momentum when Heavy Rain came out, and everybody's like, "Holy!" Yep. Next thing you know, everybody's yelling, "Jason!" From there, we got another couple titles. The biggest one as of late was Detroit Become Human. That was the last game that they produced. we're not going to count the multiplayer that they did that nobody cares about. We're going to talk about Star Wars Eclipse, though, and how we feel about this one, because this is an interesting one, right? Revealed in late 2021, multiple years of minimal updates on the game, still early to mid-development with no release window whatsoever, and then NetEase owns the company, but now they're trying to get rid of them and sell off the studio, and then Quantic Dream's like, we're still working on the game, but we're trying to find a new publisher, and it is in development hell 101 right now with Star Wars Eclipse, and it breaks my heart because damn, this could be such a Star Wars story that has never been experienced before like this ever. Where are you at with Star Wars Eclipse, Michael?
I hate to do it back to back, Drew, but
no,
I don't see it. I'm gonna have to go canceled again. As you said, NetEase is trying to get rid of them, and just everything with what happened with Spellcaster Chronicles, right? They tried
that's
to
what it
release
was.
This live service game. That one got shut down, I think, in a month and a half. That resulted in another 120 layoffs, right? Then there was a whole strike that was going on the same day. I think Lucasfilms was there trying to check on progress of the game because they keep saying we're good to go, and they're like, we don't have enough employees to meet your deadlines anymore. So yeah, this is one where if you had asked me a couple months ago, I think I would have said, yeah, we're gonna get this game. But after everything that's happened, after you tried this Spellcaster Chronicles and it flopped so hard, I don't know what they were thinking. I played the demo of that game and I'm like, yeah, this isn't it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to unfortunately go back to back cancel, Drew. I hate it. I'm not gonna say I'm a Star Wars diehard, but it's one of those I think the franchise is fun, and I think it's something that shocked me that this franchise has struggled to have good video games, right? Like Fallen Order is really the only one that has kind of stuck.
Sure.
But yeah, I think there's another Star Wars on the list that I'm more optimistic on, but for this one, I'm gonna have to hit it with another cancel, Drew.
Ouch! That hurts, man. That freaking hurts a lot.
It hurts me. This one hurts me a lot, but I don't see it, man, after everything they've had in the last 2 months at Quantic Dream. I just don't.
So, revealed in 2021, I think we see it in 2030 is where I'm putting myself because of the delays, because of the issues. But I don't think Lucas nor do Quantic Dream want to let go of this. This is a huge opportunity. Like, Heavy Rain put them on the map. Detroit Become Human created a ton of buzz and conversation. If they could land this, dude, it's fucking Star Wars. If they land Star Wars Eclipse and the way they tell their stories, because to this day, I still talk about my ending of Detroit Become Human versus somebody else's ending, because it is so, my journey was such my personal experience, my journey to get to that end, to then have somebody else's journey. And like, holy crap, the differences and the pathing, it's so mind-blowing. But yeah, I don't think they can let go. They have to either sink the studio or get this game out. And I think they don't do it until 2030. I think we start to hear a little bit more buzz in the next couple years just because of all the setbacks and things like that. I'm a little nervous, though. Man, I hope they don't cancel it, Michael. Damn it. This is one I really want to play. This is definitely one of my most anticipated titles. Yeah, all we've seen is a cinematic trailer. Dude, that's all we've seen is a cinematic what-if possibility. And it sucks. Let's get back into Ubisoft world, though. Assassin's Creed, codenamed Hexy. This is supposed to be the next one, right? So apparently, this is part of the Brotherhood AC Infinity slate teased years ago, pre-2020 concept started back then. Like, this is... Ubisoft is known for planning out their Assassin's Creed library for decades. So here we are, though. We're now 6 years later. We just got resynced. Black Flag resynced as the latest Assassin's Creed title, which, at the top of the show, I still talk about how I'm playing that game. Shadows was 2 years ago. It kind of lines up for a next year launch, in my eyes, is kind of where I think I would see Assassin's Creed Hexy. I think that's where Ubisoft themselves wants to place this at as well. I don't think they want to wait until 2028. I think this is probably the earliest game on here that we will see is Assassin's Creed Hexy, that almost feels more guaranteed than anything else, I think, on our list. Michael, would you agree with that? Yeah.
I think the next game we're going to talk about is probably I'm up there with you in terms of guarantees.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I'm with you. 2027 is what I had penciled in, right? It just makes too much sense, right? Especially with Black Flag Resync being as successful as it was. You want to strike while the iron's hot, right? And
Yeah.
we've seen a couple teasers. I don't know how worried they are, but I know we've talked a little bit about Amsterdam 1666, right? It gives those Hexy vibes. It's got sort of the cat that was supposed to be part of Hexy that you... So I think that also has to play in their mind. Yeah, I think it's 2027, right? Shadows was, I think, decent. Black Flag Racing has been amazing, especially in terms of fan reception, right? Like the numbers you're seeing on Steam are nearly double what Shadows had. So yeah, I think this is, like you said, I think this and the next thing we're going to talk about, I think are the two biggest locks I have on this list to see, and I think 2027 fits.
Yeah, no, I think this was an easier one for sure. I think we're about that time now that we've been 2 years removed from the latest game. If you don't really count Black Flag Resync, it's a remake, right? So that one I think is just at a different standing when it comes to the Assassin's Creed universe versus Hexy. I think Hexy is ready to get revealed at the Game Awards because even this year, it was funny enough, Ubisoft usually or used to have a Ubisoft Forward. And they didn't have one this year or last because they really don't have much to show us. It's funny enough, we're still not done talking about Ubisoft after Hexy.
Somehow.
Yeah, right? Because they have a lot of stuff going on. They just don't have a lot to show us. So I'm
they
thinking...
were the inspiration for this list, right? With Far Cry and with Beyond Good and Evil 2, and then their internal report that was like, hey, releasing a game later is actually just as bad as releasing a game too early, right? They were the inspiration for this list, which is why they're so heavily featured in it. Shout
out to Ubisoft. Your shit show made the podcast.
Yep, exactly. That's how we do it, yeah.
So that's how we're at right now. But yeah, you and I both locked in for 2027. I think this year at the Game Awards is when we start to see anything about Hexy. I think they're ready to kind of get that ball rolling, get us lined up for next year. When do you think, as far as next year, when do we see it? What season are you thinking?
I mean, I think releasing it in July, kind of like around that Black Flag date, not this year. I think that makes the most sense. I really do. I think maybe like a fall, right? It's supposed to be more witch themed,
Halloween.
Right? Halloween themed, right? So I think somewhere between like July and October, right? Either midsummer, just like you did with Black Flag Resync, because it just worked really, really well, or you shift more into that witchy vibe that the game's going to give off, that darker vibe, and you go more into that Halloween-ish inspiration. But somewhere between July and October is what I would think.
Yeah, that's a good call. I would like to see it early in 2027 versus later, but I don't think we see it until October. Yeah. I think we're probably, if they're looking at the seasonal content and then its creation, I think that's kind of where we're lining up for, because yeah, it is that witch hunt essentially is what you're after, right? So speaking of creepy, State of Decay 3 with Undead Labs. This has been the latest disaster from Xbox.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's kind of, this game's been going for years. It was announced in 2020, 6 years ago. Still in development. We're getting a couple updates now. People are actually playtesting the game. To me, I think we're lining up again, Michael, for a 2027 early access launch. I don't think we're getting a 1.0. I think we're getting an early access at the game. Help Undead Labs rebuild it. So they have a new publisher.
Yep.
Nobody knows who it is.
Scary.
Xbox still has their hands in the game, which is just kind of irritating. I think at this point, if you're going to let them go, then let them go. Piss off. But they're still helping in some form or another. You got to do what you got to do to get your game out. I think that's where Undead Labs is now at this point, because it was announced in 2020. Dude, that game's been in development much longer than this. Like much longer than that for sure. So I'm curious to see, but I'm going 2027 early access is where I'm at with that. I don't even think we're at a 1.0 stage. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I was in 2027 as well, just because, right, we saw the trailer at the Xbox, which we learned was basically trying to get a buyer, and I don't think you get a buyer if you're buying in to say, all right, I have to pay for how many more years before I get a return? So
Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
I'm with you in 2027. I think your idea of an early access makes perfect sense. If I were to steal that, I would 100% be with you. But yeah, this and Hexy, I think
I'll
on
give it
this
to you.
list just feel like locks, right? Hexy because I think Assassin's Creed is trying to cash in, and State of
Yeah.
Decay because I don't think a buyer jumps in without a guarantee that hey, in the next 12 months we're going to have a game ready to go for you to recoup starting that investment. So those two feel like the locks, and like I said, I think I'm with you. 2027, even if it's just early access, just to start the cash flow
Yeah.
back, start paying that developer back before you have, or that mystery investor before you have any other issues that come up. So I'll guarantee you it's going to be out before the end of next year.
Where's your hype level?
Like a 7, right? I think like with all the changes and delays, I think it would be fun. I really want it to be good because I want Xbox to take another loss just because they can't seem to get out of their own way. I think that would be funny even as an Xbox fan, just to watch them flop. So, but I
Squirm.
would say like I would say like a 7, right? I've never played the other games. When I saw the trailer, I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. And then we hear like, oh yeah, this trailer was just to buy investors. We're probably gonna cancel the game. So then I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. But yeah, I was like a 7 out of 10. I want it to be really good though. I would love for Xbox just to take another loss, just because they've mismanaged the hell out of that company.
Yeah, no, I think they're in for a shock. I think they're going to be at one of the stages where they're like, shit, we should have kept Undead Labs. Like, that's just, they came out with State of Decay Definitive Edition, which is when I jumped on. And then I played State of Decay 2, loved that. And then State of Decay 3 now is just bringing another level of everything we already love about State of Decay and pinning that at the next stage of going, holy shit, they're really going to push the boundaries of where we're going to be at here for this. And I think that's going to be awesome. So I can't wait to jump into State of Decay 3. I'm hoping we get a look at some of this early access play that people are now experiencing. I think there's like currently 70 minutes out in the sphere that you can jump into. So that I'm my hype level for this is probably at around a 9 is where I'm at. So yeah, absolutely love it. This one I never played. Did you play this one back in the day?
No, back in the day, I tried to play this one. I guess maybe it would be back in the day now, 7, 8 years ago, because
Okay.
I heard all the good things, and it just didn't click right. It was one of those where people tell you, "Oh, this was amazing," and then you play when graphics been updated, and you're like, "This looks like crap." Like I don't know how people played this, but you have to remember back in the day, this game looked amazing, Drew. And this is the one I have more confidence in: is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake from Asper and Saber, announced in 2021. It's still in development for 5 years, so we kind of stretched the 6 number we gave a little bit. But as you said, the announcement is well after development has started. Troubled status. We've had some weird reports coming out throughout the year about this game's future. But as I said, when we were talking about Eclipse, this is the Star Wars title I have more confidence in because, as you talked about, it has more draw with people, right? Yes, I think Quantic Dream makes fantastic games, but there's more people who remember, I played Knights of the Old Republic as a kid. That was amazing. That was a fantastic story game. I absolutely love it. I want that remake, and I think that nostalgia is going to be kind of what pushes Asper and Saber over to like, all right, we got to make sure we get this game out. Well, when, though, is the question, Drew.
That is a tough one.
I'm gonna go with 2027. We get a trailer at one of the major game shows.
Okay.
2029 is when we get the actual game. I think they're going to take the next year. They're going to give us something and say, hey, we're still coming out. But I think 2029 we get the game. But I would not be shocked if we get a real trailer, build that hype, maybe draw some more investors in 2027.
That's probably not a bad call. I don't think we see anything next year at all. I don't think we see shit.
You're worrying me. You're worrying me.
It's so funny because like you take a look at 2029 and you go, man, that's only really 3 years away from where we're at now. And at the point where we're at now, we're halfway through 2026. So really, I'm almost thinking we're in 2027 now at this point. When it comes to game management, right? Time frames and things like that. So in that case, I don't think we get it until 2030. I think they're that far delayed, that far behind, because they've switched teams, trying to maneuver around here. I'm going 2030 is when we start to see the game with the 2031 release. Yeah, I think we're further out. I don't think we're anywhere near getting this, which then puts it into. So say they announced it in 2021. Ah, man, that's really long. It's funny how we're stretching the 7-year cycle now into this 10-year stuff, right? Like maybe I'm out too far. Hang on, I'm rethinking now. Like I'm rethinking.
Okay.
Because now now that I'm looking at it, going, man, I'm talking myself out of this because we've been delayed. It's the delays that keep setting it out by another year, right? Like that's where.
Yep.
So maybe we are on to a 2029. I think we're 2029 reveal, 2030 release.
Okay.
Right? Like that's where I'm at with that one. Now let's get to one of the biggest anticipated games of all time. We're not talking about GTA 6. It's coming out this year. We're talking about the Elder Scrolls 6 from Bethesda. And where the fuck is this game? Because it was announced.
Number 6 titles take it forever, man. I don't understand.
And announced in 2018. 2018. Dude, we're 2 years out from being a decade. Welcome to Ubisoft territory. Man. Still in early development. Dude, this is where the game is still in early development. Bethesda, because they're like one and the same. Bethesda has stated that the team now is fully on and shifted over to the Elder Scrolls 6. Small team is sticking around for Starfield and whatever the hell they're doing over there. Some people are still playing that game and enjoying that game, and good for everybody. But at the same time, Skyrim was in 2011. That's the last true Elder Scroll property that we experienced. It was in 2011. So,
Yeah.
Where does this put you? Because as of right now, for any content we've seen for the Elder Scrolls 6 has been a splash screen of the title. That is it.
Yep.
What's your hopes, dreams, desires? What do you got, Michael?
This one's a tough one, right? Because, one, it's been 8 years and we have a splash screen. But two, we heard from Master Sharma, right? We've heard the rumors, right? We want you guys to get this done. We want, you know what? It's time to lock in Todd, right? Stop doing whatever you're doing. Focus in on Elder Scrolls 6, which makes me think that they want this game sooner rather than later, right? So I'm gonna go, and I don't think I'm gonna be right, but this just with the new Xbox way and the way I've heard the news are going, I think this would be what they want. And I'm gonna go with 2028, and this is a release title with Helix. That is what I think Xbox wants. I think realistically, this is like a 2030 game. So I think Xbox is heavily pushing for this to become a 2028 Helix release title, right? Play it on Xbox Helix. Look at all this, right? We've got to justify what most likely is going to be a 4-figure price that you and I have talked about. I think it is going to be lock in for 2 years, 2028 companion release with Helix. That's what I think Xbox wants.
Okay, let me ask you this. Exclusive?
Timed exclusive.
Oh!
6 months.
Right?
6 months.
6 month time exclusive. Pull people in. If you want to play it now, you can only play it in one spot, right?
Yep.
You got to get it on the Helix.
We're not doing backwards compatibility. If you want it, you're buying it on the Helix.
Dude, I like that prediction. That is a fantastic one. I think you're crazy to think we're going to get it in 2028.
Yeah. I feel crazy. Like I said, I think this is what Xbox wants. I don't know if I agree with it, but I think this is what Xbox wants. And this is the vibe I'm getting. So.
Yeah, I don't think we see it until 2030. I think your other prediction is where we're at for this, and that releases in 2030. I think we're still 4 years out. Because they are so far removed from game development schedules there, right? Like they said, Starfield was 25 years in the making because Todd had an idea and that's what he wanted to do, which is great, which is cool. I understand, dude. I got 1,000 ideas too. Doesn't mean all of them are gonna happen. Some of them take a long time before they do. So, but 2028. Oh, Michael, like if you hit that, dude, that is like prediction of the century. I think that would be perfect. But I don't think it's going to happen because I think they're still so far behind when it comes to the Elder Scrolls 6, Skyrim 2, whatever they're going to call this thing, right? So, yeah. But they have said, yes, we'll have more to show eventually, but
Soon TM.
just... It's if we do get it in 2028, it's because Asha is up their ass saying, you got to get this done now. We're done waiting. We are done paying your studio to keep the lights on when you don't produce shit. And Starfield isn't cutting it. That's that's the ultimate other thing too, right? It's not like they have... This is where we talk about Quantic Dream and what was that Chronicles game they did?
Spellcaster's Chronicles.
Yes. So their idea behind that game was to have a live service experience that would help fund Star Wars Eclipse. It tanked.
Yep.
When you take a look at Bethesda, they don't have a live service game. They have more content when it comes to Starfield. They have another big update looking to drop next year. This, that, and the other. They have people that are playing that game, but that is not going to fund this game. Xbox/Microsoft are funding this game, and they need to figure it out sooner than later. But I don't think that later comes till 2030. That's where I'm at. Let's get to the last one. You mentioned it earlier. It is Far Cry 7 from Ubisoft. The last title of the day for this show. Yep. The last Ubisoft title as well. In active development since Far Cry 6, 2021. Targeting a 2026 release. That ain't happening. Right? That's where that's at. It's faced delays. So here's the latest for Far Cry 7. There are two titles for Far Cry 7. Single player, and then the multiplayer. They have two different teams going, from what I've understood, and from the rumors and things I've been able to kind of piece apart here, is that there's going to have a multiplayer experience on one game, and then they're going to have the campaign for another. They're separating the two. It has been through development hell. The story campaign sounds cool. You have 24 hours to save your family.
Yeah.
Right? And it doesn't sound like you're going to be able to save them all. I'm like, that is sick. So who do you want to save? Which way do you go? This, that, and the other. There's a multitude of things that can play out. Sounds awesome. If Ubisoft has paid attention to Xbox at all, we know the disaster of Halo Infinite and the fact that they piecemealed the campaign, the multiplayer, and Forge in 3 different meals. And people were pissed and people dropped off. Yep. They launched the multiplayer first, then the campaign, and then Forge. Instead of one complete package. They need to have this as a package. Far Cry 7 needs to come as the whole package all together.
Yep.
It doesn't sound like that's going to happen. Doesn't sound like that's the case. Instead, it sounds like we're getting 2 separate games. One codenamed Maverick, and I can't remember whatever the other one is. Maverick, I believe, is the multiplayer. Michael, where are you putting Far Cry 7 on the Ubisoft launch list of...
I'm going to go with 2028.
Okay.
I think 2027, they want to make sure they get Hexy out. I don't know if you really want to go distract from that, right? I think it is 2028. And I think we will only get a single player game, Drew. I think that at some point you have to realize that I don't think multiplayer makes sense. We've talked about it with Quantum Dream. We could do an entire show on examples of live service titles that have failed, right? You mentioned Halo Infinite, right? Yep. I think at some point you realize multiplayer, maybe there is some sort of multiplayer in the game we get, but I do not see them releasing 2 separate titles. I think eventually somebody lights up and is like, yeah, this is not going to make sense. But I think 2028, we will get the single player, because as you said, I think the single player is going to hook people, right?
Yeah.
If you can make a compelling trailer. I think that 24-hour concept, I'm with you. I was like, that sounds kind of cool, right? I played 5. 6 was a disaster, and I stayed away, luckily. I think 7 has a very cool concept, and leave it up to Ubisoft to absolutely bungle this. But I really think we're going to get the single player in 2028.
It's interesting to look at Ubisoft sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So the other title we could have put on here was Splinter Cell remake, but that doesn't matter. But either way, Yeah, there's just a lot of Ubisoft. This is why this whole topic came up.
Shout out Ubisoft.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. So, Far Cry has had multiplayer in the past on their games, and dude, it just doesn't hit. It really just doesn't hit. Yeah. So where does that put this particular multiplayer, right? I think that's the question. Is it worth it? I've heard rumors of an extraction game. We're phasing out of extraction games. Like, you are too little too late if you are working on an extraction game right now in the world of Far Cry. And the other multiplayers just never connected with the players whatsoever. What Far Cry is known for is the single player, batshit crazy experience. Right? Voss is still one of the best Far Cry 3 villains within the series, hands down. So, man, 2021, we're already at the 6-year mark, I would say, because it probably started in 2020. It was revealed, give or take, around 2021. I don't know if we get it next year. I would love. Yeah. I think 2028 might be the target, but I'm going to say 2027. I'm going to push it because so they had a remake this year with Assassin's Creed Black Flag remake, remake, right?
Yep.
And then what else do we get from them? Nothing. Next year we get Assassin's Creed and Far Cry. So you get one early, you get one at the end. You don't have to worry about GTA 6 right now.
Yep.
Right? That's out of the way. They're already done. Not done. They're just getting started, and that game will live for another 15 years once it releases. Before we get GTA 7. So, like, seriously, like, people are just going to start retiring at Rockstar, and like Dan Houser and all them are just going to be they're all long gone. So it's going to be interesting to see where that goes. But I think we're at a 2027 because when you look at what else does Ubisoft have cooking, they need something else. Ghost Recon isn't going to be it. Their next game has had one massive hurdle after another. Frontline was an absolute shit show. And then now they're in the Project Over, which is not hitting targets. And then what else do we have lately? It got canceled. There was the Prince of Persia remake. Like, things are just getting scrapped left, right, and center. Ubisoft needs some wins. They need some wins. So if you could stay away from the multiplayer and just give us a single player, dude, give me Primal 2. Far Cry Primal 2 would be awesome. But that's not going to happen. We're getting Far Cry 7. I think the concept of what they have in place sounds awesome. Can they pull it off? 2027 will be an interesting move if they can do it, because they need to make money. They're a company that needs to make money. And if you can get Hexy and a good Far Cry, dude, that's a pretty solid year out of Ubisoft. For them, the amount of studios that freaking company has, though, it's ridiculous that we are not getting this stuff a lot sooner. So, let's recap, Michael. Beyond Good and Evil 2, you said 2030. I went for 2028. I'm even laughing at my own prediction, Michael. God damn. Man, oh man. I think Hell's got a better chance of freezing over before we ever see that game. Arc 2, you went with 2028. I said 2029. Light No Fire, 2028. You said. I went with 2027. Bioshock 4, you said canceled. Oh! Yeah. Canceled. I went with 2031. Star Wars Eclipse, again, canceled, you said, Michael. Damn it. Don't do that to me. Yeah. I said 2030. Sorry. You and I both feel Assassin's Creed Codename Hexy is coming out next year, 2027. Yep. We also feel that State of Decay 3 is coming out next year, 2027, early access. I don't think we're going to get 1.0. I think we're going to get early access. You get the Xbox preview program, whatever that is, right? That kind of stuff. Yep. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake. You said 2027 trailer with a 2029 release. I said a 2029 reveal with a 2030 release. Interesting to see how that one goes. Elder Scrolls 6 out of Bethesda. You said 2028 released with Hexy. 6-month exclusive. I fucking love it. I love it. I think there's not a chance in hell.
You're probably right.
I'm thinking 2030 is when we get that one. And then we both ended with Far Cry 7. You said 2028, single player only. And I'm going 2027 for both single player and multiplayer, because I think we're still going on 2 projects here. That's where we're wrapping up that prediction episode. And before we let it go, though, we always end off each and every Theory Unlocked podcast with the Indie Spotlight. And I've got Hell Reaper. Become the Hell Reaper, an unstoppable force that heaven can't control and hell is terrified of. Conquer unholy horrors and slay grotesque bosses. Forge and master your weapons. Wield cursed magic. Discover ancient relics. Evolve. Every step of the bloody descent into the abyss is yours. Dude, this is a side-scroller, hand-drawn indie title, and it looks awesome. It caught my eye the other day. We have over our Slack channel an Indie Spotlight channel, and I put it in there because I'm like, I gotta cover this. This game looks sick. It's supposed to be coming out this year, from what I understand. Keep your eye out on that one. Hell Reaper. It looks like a ton of fun. It has some great visual style that's just so different than everybody else's, which is a nice refresh in this kind of take on the things, right? Michael, I've seen yours. Welcome to the Friend Slop Corner.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Fisher.
More Friend Slop from me. Yep, Bomb Banana is what I am talking about today, and it is based on a very simple concept. If you know the 3 monkeys, see no evil, speak no evil, hear no evil. You are one of 3 monkeys, and you are trying to defuse a bomb, but, much like what I was talking about, one of you who is defusing the bomb can't see. The one of you who is reading the bomb defusal manual can't speak. And the third monkey who is trying to communicate cannot hear, right? It is just peak Friend Slop. You're trying to figure out how to defuse the bomb, how to make it so you don't go boom. Demo is out right now. Played a little bit with my friends. Had an absolute blast. I think the full game's supposed to come out in August, so very, very soon. I think it's a very cool concept. I think it's definitely one of those, right? You're going to buy it, you're going to play it for a few times, and then you're going to forget, and that's what Friend Slop's all about. It's just one of those, you don't need any intro, you don't need to warm up, there's no PvP, there's no competitiveness. I think it's a ton of fun. Cannot wait to see what this game comes out with. I think it's a cool concept, right? Never really had thought about, like, okay, what if we put the 3 monkeys and they were defusing a bomb? So, yeah. As you said, that is the Friend Slop Game of the Week, Drew. Can't wait till we see more about it, and it comes out in August, hopefully.
That is awesome. Dude, I saw it come up. I think I got a press release on it. I'm like, what is... Oh, this is a Michael game. Fair enough. Yep. Everybody, that's going to wrap up our episode this week for Theory Unlocked. This is episode 21. Thank you for hanging out with us. You can always support the channel by liking, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Check out the gamerstheory.com website or the gamerstheory.substack.com. We have a paid tier over there as well, where you can get some exclusive content. We got a lot happening over here right now. You're not going to want to miss it. Until next week, everybody, I'm Drew, that's Michael, and this has been Theory Unlocked. See you later.